not bowling well from that end in the first innings. And let's have a change up. Let's try this end. Let's see if he finds more rhythm from this end. And that might be the case.
Babar Azam not trying to hit the ball hard. It's all about playing the ball as late as possible under his eye and making sure that it's a safe start for him. 11 balls for his 3.
We have so much time left in this test match, and it's one of the challenges for players coming here to test matches is patience. Being patient, whether you're with ball in hand or bat in hand. And Babar Azam will do well alongside Shan Masood to remember that. No! End of 15 overs at 62 for 1. Listening to Dane Patterson talking about just the success he enjoyed yesterday, how he mixed it up. Kept the line the same, but varied the length. Pakistan trail by 28 runs. It's Shan Masood and Babar Azam. Partnership is 13 from 27. Wicket to fall. Saim Ayub bowled by Kagiso Rabada for 27.
Yeah, the delivery from Kagiso Rabada was an absolute beaut. Perfect line, fantastic length to Saim Ayub. And just having a look at that length that was bowled to him, very nice and forward. That one just beating the bat, and finally the one that's touch fuller, inducing the drive. The difference was in the other previous one, Saim Ayub played it later because of the defensive shot, and that one just gave him the whisper in his left shoulder, go for it down the ground. Unfortunately, he had to walk off the ground with that.
Your initial thought process has to be defensive approach, defense, 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 and then when you get an opportunity, then you expand your range. I think that's an excellent line to Babar Azam. Now 2 deliveries on that off-stump angle, which he didn't really fathom in the first innings. So that's good thinking from South Africa. But this was a beauty. Round the stumps, angling it slightly in and then away.
Yeah, the difference is when you go for that attacking shot, you play a touch in front of your body and you're unable to cover the line, as opposed to when you play it later.
Fortune for Babar Azam. UZAIR Azad in the middle. Now that goes for 4.
Yeah, it's a nervous start. It's an uneasy start. You don't see that from Babar Azam. He is usually very secure, and this was on the pads, looking for that push through mid-wicket or mid-on. Outside edge, falling short of Jansen.
Yeah, we've seen a few fall short in that slip cordon. Babar Azam has faced 13 deliveries. When Naseem Shah was bowling, he was extracting some good bounce from the surface. Earlier today, after lunch, when Pakistan came back on to bowl, it was Naseem Shah and Khurram Shahzad who were bowling so well and triggered a South African collapse. And South Africa will be hoping that they can start to find a period of pressure that they can apply on Pakistan to trigger a similar collapse. Another one dropping short.
Yeah, Patterson's testing Babar Azam's technique. He's giving him the full test here. He's landing it in the absolutely perfect position. Babar Azam could have been forward, but nevertheless he played it well enough for it not to carry.
It's the same scenario. as if you're not able to pick a spinner off the hand. So you're in two minds. You play from your crease, and I think he's not been able to really play that line properly here, that off-stump line.
Pick up 2 runs, but a testing over for Babar Azam. 16 overs gone, 68 for 1. Pakistan trail by 22.
You saw Babar Azam there looking at his bat and mostly looking at the edges. So when you're out of form, you tend to look more intently at the edges rather than the middle.
Is that true, Hash?
Yeah, it is true. But I think in that occasion, Romeez, I think he was just being grateful that the edges have saved him. The outside edge, the ball is dropped short. The inside edge protected him from an LBW shout. But it's true, when you're not in the best of nicks, you just could be grateful for every run you get.
Got to do it behind the scenes with Hashim Amla. There's some pearls that you're dropping. Post-retirement, we love hearing all these things, Hash. But it must be so tough for Babar Azam. Every opportunity that comes his way, there is that spotlight. But mentally, Hash, as a player, like, how is he getting himself out of the rut?
Yeah, it's extremely difficult. I mean, you have an expectation of yourself, and the disappointment you feel is from not reaching that expectation of the bar you set yourself when you first start, and you're getting runs under your belt and batting seems easy and the runs are flowing. You don't think much about your batting. Even technical aspects of your batting, you don't think about it. But once you go through the testing times of a few low scores and the doubt starts seeping in, and the way to get out of it is generally is to go back to a trusty coach, because what happens when you're not scoring runs, you'll have about 15 or 20 people giving you advice, and the ability to sift out the good from the bad. Everybody's meaning well, but not everybody's advice is going to be good for you. So that ability to sift out advice is the most crucial thing for anybody in a tough patch.
Got him! Great slipping catch in the slips, and Marco Janssen picks up wicket number 2. We talk about 1 brings 2, and that's the case here for South Africa.
We were talking about this earlier. Shan Masood playing with an angle back to probably pick up a single, and then this one went to the slip fielder. Was this taken cleanly?
Can you
go
to front
extra
on,
high,
please?
Trying to manage that length.
Okay, I can see clearly from the bat.
It gets into the
Do you have a side-on replay, please?
Fingers are under the ball, and so that's an excellent catch because the ball was dying on him. He had to really get cracking straight away. Always is difficult.
Yes, can you zoom that replay, please?
On the offensive in the slips. Diving forward is always difficult, and this really is tremendous from Stubbs. Beautiful soft hands.
Yeah, I think the other thing is he dropped a few in the first innings.
It's underneath the ball,
So
but
the
would
ability
like
to stay
see
focused,
the side-on replay.
put those drops behind, to get his hands underneath the ball. It looks comfortably into the palms of his hands. Look at the smile on his face as it's going in. Shan Masood.
Side-on replay, please, Eddie.
Quick contribution, a handy contribution, but not enough for Pakistan. He goes for 28. Pakistan 70 for 2.
And with that, it's drinks here at Centurion.
74-2 Pakistan, and they'll be happy with the fact that they've got those 70 runs. They've whittled away some of the deficit. It brings in Kamran Ghulam, who in the first innings got a half century. He played some shots, felt that he needed to be positive on this surface. You'd say, despite the vagaries, that it has somewhat eased somewhat. It's gone over the stumps. Not ideal to just trust the bounce.
Yeah, we talked about the bounce of Marco Jansen. That's what he brings to the equation. He can just extract a little bit more. That's steep. Squares up Shah Massoud on the crease. And Tristan Stubbs will be so happy. He put down 3, I think it was, in the first inning. So he's managed to get back on the bus. That's why he's ecstatic. Actually noticed he put an extended slip fielding practice this morning. He was out obviously overnight, so he spent his time there.
Few fans for Marco Jansen. He's got that second wicket. He celebrated just as much as they are right there. They're disappeared for a bit, those celebrations and jumps, maybe because of those catches going down. Nicely done by Marco Jansen. It's 70 for 2.
If you had to say who was happier with the dismissal, was it Tristan Stubbs or Marco Jansen? I don't even think it's a contest. Jansen just runs through half halves. Yeah, got him.
Yeah, a few commentators up here, they were quite happy with that dismissal too. It's an important breakthrough for the Poachers. Those top 2 players are quite a handful when they get going.
Been quite fascinated with the rates of scoring for either side and through the course of the test match. and trying to look at it from a bowler's perspective and whether they might be unhappy with how quickly both batting lineups have managed to score, and just trying to sort of work out whether they'd feel that they've got the ball in the right areas enough times and consistently enough. If you think of a surface that's what we'd term a good one, a flatter one, there'd be the attempt at controlling the run rate, and there'd be the patience in terms of the plans. Yes, well concerted, whilst the ball's hard and new and slip cordon in place and all that, you might risk more. But then sort of happy to ring it a bit later on and then just work patiently. And so, and I don't know, that might be kind of a yesteryear way of thinking, with the way rates of scoring are generally quite high. But going at 4s on here with the ball doing a bit, I think you're just generally disappointed with that as a bowling group. Nice. He sparred at one just outside off to get out in the first innings. Lucky he doesn't nick that one.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be free-flowing for Babar Azam at the moment. He seems to be being very tentative. He's kind of in a very defensive mindset and mode. You just think of earlier on in the over, there was one that was short and wide, and he just left it go by. You'd get the thought that when he's going well and he's believing and he's confident, he'll just get into position and smash that square of the wicket through the offside.
70 for 2. Yeah, a lot behind the ball. You see the face of Marco Jansen there, just a little stare towards Gulam. A beautiful delivery. Have a look at the reaction there. On the left, Marco Jansen. That's him being quite animated. Nice delivery. You're not going to get a lot from Marco. There he is. He's had a little look there. There's a lot of thought in his head, and he'll turn back, and the way he kind of lopes back to his mark.
Yeah, it also shows the technique-wise of square of the wicket. There's a lot of slip cordon who don't watch the ball at all, so they're just watching the edge of the bat, and then if it doesn't make contact with that, they kind of forget about it as it goes through to the keeper.
Been good this from Marco Jansen. Oh, beautiful. Just past the edge. And he can work with kind of whatever length, as long as his direction is correct. shot. That's beautifully cut away for 4.
Whatever length, or maybe not that length. That's a complete drag down, and he just didn't complete his action on this one. Cameron Gulam into position early, and that's an easy picking for him. Nice way for him to get off the mark. Saw a couple of those shots in the first innings. Very strong square of the wicket, and you can see how Marco Jansen almost was disappointed with the way his body had got through that delivery.
Not entirely sure. They're celebrating the South Africans. Marco Jansen with another one that's chipped the edge. Umpires will come together. Standing umpire checking with square leg umpire, and then they'll bring in their mate who's upstairs.
Yeah, but umpire review for fair catch. I have checked the both feeds. It's a fair delivery. Can you go to the front on, please? Yeah. Clearly from the back, you can go to the catch. Yeah. Do you have the side on replay? Yes. Can you zoom that? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I can see fingers underneath the ball. I'm ready to make my decision, big screen decision.
Out is the decision from TV umpire. Kamran Gulam is gone. Marco Jansen has another. It's a top catch, really.
Yeah, once again, have a look at this bounce. It's got him on the front foot, but look where it makes contact, right with the top part of the corner of the bat. And actually, if you look at Riggleton, his head's kind of not even looking at the ball. He's just going on how it felt going to the fingers. The rest of the slip corner were convinced they went up. It's been sent upstairs. It's been given the all clear. And Cameron Gulam has to be on his way for 4. 74 for 3.
Sal Shakil has walked out to the middle. Really good average of 54.62, 407 50s in his 15 test matches prior. Really good numbers, those. Their score of 208 not out. Threw the bat at it in the first innings, which was a somewhat out of character innings. Wonder if it's the same approach this time around. 3 slips in the gully. Await. Good work. A really good over by Marco Jansen. 74 for 3.
Very good for Marco Jansen. We've got a few balls to rise off a length. apart from that one that went for the boundary. Definitely more intensity in this inning so far. There's the wicket delivery, angling in with the extra bounce that we mentioned. And carrying all the way to Ryan Rickleton. It's a big wicket. Gulam was the chief destroyer in the first innings for Pakistan and can move a game forward quite quickly. Good breakthrough for South Africa.
When I opened with Corbin Bosch, and I saw that there wasn't much movement through the air off the seam, I did think Marco Jansen could be the chief destroyer in the second innings because of the extra bounce that he extracts from the surface. And his 2 wickets have both bounced steeply. Jarwood will be wondering if there's going to be some bad light at some stage, or whether his team can fight and make sure they don't lose another wicket tonight. They had fought hard to get to 70 for 1. And now all of a sudden, bang bang for South Africa. And just in a short space, feel firmly in front.
And the game does shift like that, doesn't it? Jitters into that change room with a wicket or 2 going down. Babar Azam, so experienced, such a good player, but obviously challenged by conditions, as all are when they turn up here at Supersport Park. Inside edge and away for a single.
Yeah, another tentative push though, wasn't it, Pom, from Babar Azam? You think of these fluent innings we've watched over the years where he gets into a strong position and the bat comes through flowing. It's almost like he's just jabbing at it. Similar, maybe on the back of what happened in the first innings, where he would have got out in that fashion and wouldn't have been happy with it. He's kind of got the mindset, I'm feeling, that he wants to grind out a score here rather than back his natural ability, that if he recognizes the length or deliveries misses its mark, he's aggressive and puts it away.
It's got it going nicely from round the wicket. Angle towards that off stump, and he'll creep closer to it, and then just straightening off the surface. Fast forward test matches, just wickets galore. It feels like so much of the test match is gone, and yet we're just coming to the end of day number 2. It's nicely bowled.
Just chatting with Mario Fair, it has got a little bit more gloomy as the minutes are passing by. Back in the day in the UK, you used to have like a 5-light or 4-light system, and it was actually really good from a spectator's perspective, because you think in this current situation people get disappointed if all of a sudden we go off for bad light. Whereas in those days it almost preempted, because you would see the light getting progressively worse and the different 4 or 5 lights coming on, and then you understood when the umpires took you off. 75 for 3.
sort of like to develop the point further in what I was trying to articulate with regard to Janssen and him not necessarily having to worry about what length he might bowl. Because of his height, when he gets it right and gets the batter forward, his threatening shoulder of bat and edge, and perhaps even top of the stumps, when he doesn't quite get it right and it's back of a length, it can jump up from the length and be awkward to deal with, and you might still end up nicking it if it moves or it jags back and it tickles your ribs or your gloves, whatever it is. And then if he's even further back from that, as long as he continually looks to try and pound the pitch, hit the pitch hard, then you're challenged upstairs. As long as every ball is backed by sufficient effort and there's kind of full intent behind it, and so he doesn't have to worry too much. That's nicely played, wide and very full, and just smashed away for 4.
That's a freebie from Marco Jansen, full and wide, and maybe the sucker delivery, as we call it in cricket, tempting me into the drive. But Saad helping himself, throwing the hands. We saw how aggressive he was in the first innings. Well, the extra bounce here at Supersport Park, you can just throw the hands at it, free it up. Safe shot.
Outside that corridor, freebie, swing the hands at it. In the corridor, there's bounce. You try and go at it, you could nick it. This is what I'm on about. That's beautiful. Saud Shakil with full intent and commitment to the shot, and it's beautifully driven for 4.
That can't be far off the shot of the match. You think about the context of the delivery, shaping away, the extra bounce Marco Jansen can extract from a surface. He's in a wonderful position, and it's just a flourish of the bat right off the middle, holds the pose. That's beautifully played. Always looks better as a left-hander too, doesn't it?
A little bit more effort. 84 for 3. Plays 301, and South Africa's lead they'd have been very happy about, but Pakistan have very nearly whittled that away, just trailed by 6 now. No. 3 wickets down, and you'd say this one is pretty much still in the balance. Yes, you'd rather be South Africa. Pakistan have to fight really hard here, and someone's got to play well and stave off these South African fast men.
He's just trying to adjust Patterson's length there. He's just used his feet fractionally, come out of the crease. We actually saw Pakistan use it to good effect when they played it in a smart fashion rather than just charging down and swinging. And Ghulam was the man who ended up getting out in that fashion, but you do feel like Patterson has settled into a really good length against Babar Azam, and he's not feeling the pressure. He can feel that he's building the pressure onto Babar Azam, and he's just hoping that he can get something that just nips and finds the edge.
Too short and wide and put away.
Yeah, I don't think Babar Azam was attempting to hit it to where it went through the gully region. She looked at the toe of his bat after he played that shot, but the right shot, the width was there. He's been tied down, has Babar Azam. Eyes lit up when he got that delivery. Deficit down to 2 now for Pakistan.
Fielded. Was nicely bowled back into the right hand edge, hunting his pads. Played well and fielded well. .88 for 3.
Right, so we're into the last half hour of play. Yet again, we're not going to get the overs in, so it has been a bit of a slow over day. In fact, it looks like we're probably going to get no more play in. By the looks of things, umpires got the light meters out there, and they are saying this is too dark. And this is something that always concerns me a little bit when there's lights that are on, shining bright. I do think that the umpires get a little bit carried away with these light meters. I must say, I'm going to be quite upfront about this, because there's going to be a lot of spectators going to be disappointed. A lot of broadcasters around the world now watching this are going to be disappointed. And this is a reading that's going to play out for the rest of this test match. As soon as I take a reading like this and they go off, this is the rest of this test match. And I am not convinced that it's quite dark enough at the moment to go off, personally. I am also not facing these bowlers from 22 yards. But I do think with the lights around the place, I don't see the lights taking any great effect on the players as they walk off with their feet. You normally can see a bit of a star pattern as they walk off. I don't see that really sort of taking over. But I just think the umpires have got to actually work this a little bit more, because my main reason for that is there's so many competing sports around the world that cricket's got to play as often and as long as they possibly can to make sure they retain spectators around the world and viewers. Over to you, Hashim.
Hazy, I was just giving you your time in the sun there to get it all off your chest, Hazy. But you did give the classical disclaimer that you weren't facing the fast bowlers. Having a look at the session by session for day 2. Pretty solid run rate throughout the day, which has been great entertainment for the fans. 2 wickets in the first, 5 wickets in the second session, and 3 wickets so far. Although the umpires are taking the light reading, it's by no means called off. There's every chance if the clouds disperse and the sun peeps its head again that we maybe get back on.
We were robbed of overs during the ODIs as well. It was light rain, drizzle, and so it turned out to be a 47 over contest. I think too many disruptions and too many soft decisions. Firm handling. Because we've had a great test match so far. It's moved on rapidly. Wickets have gone down. Pakistan in that fighting frame of mind, challenging South Africa. Babar Azam is batting, so I mean fans back home in Pakistan and subcontinent all over the world would want to see him bat and see how he develops the theme, develops his innings. He's under pressure. 10 wickets today, 13 on day 1. Runs scored as well, so terrific balance between bat and ball. We're always vying for that balance between bat and ball in Test cricket. Here it is.
Yeah, and let's make it clear, we're not just talking about cricket in South Africa, we're talking about cricket worldwide. I saw a situation in Australia recently where I thought it was too harsh. I saw a situation in New Zealand where I thought it was too harsh when the players came off nicely. In fact, there was during the test match, I'm just trying to think exactly which test match, it might be the ongoing test match. The commentators from Fox that I was listening to, the words that were used were stunned by guys that have played over 100 test matches. They were stunned by the decision by the umpires on that occasion that they called bad light. So yeah, I firmly believe that cricket needs all the help it can get, and if the umpires can get a little bit tougher out there and keep players out in the middle a little bit longer, it's going to help the game worldwide all round.
I mean, I don't know whether it's fair or unfair to quote another sport, but I was watching NFL, recent couple of matches that were put on internet, and I went through the rules, and it just had 4 lines. That game had a 1-pager as a rule book, whereas you produce a booklet for every event in cricket. And so if you want to popularize the game, say in America for example, then you've got to make sure that it's easier for the world audience to understand and learn the game. So if you have such disruptions, it's going to put them off completely. I mean, this is a 50-50 case. It's not a 100% thing, but fans are off. And that's the other thing. They are the stakeholders, and they're paid